The Los Angeles Clippers just countered the Boston Celtics as we now have a very clear picture of what would be needed to make this trade happen. Will the Celtics actually want to do it is the question, and Brad Stevens, with the position the Celtics have put themselves in, is it time to make the winning moves? We talk about it here today on Celtics Digest. Welcome in. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you tuning in to today's show and hope you're having a wonderful day. The talk of the NBA right now is trade deadline, and Ivica Zubac is, of course, the creme de la creme. And the Celtics are a team that really does want him. So the question becomes, what's the cost? What's the price tag? Is it worth it? Longevity-wise, giving up the first-round picks that it would require, is that worth the case when we know that Brad Stevens has such a long-standing history of making excellent first-round picks? You can see two on your screen right now behind you. Now, the first-round picks that he would trade would never be as high as Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum were in the NBA draft, but at the same point, we've seen guys like Hugo Gonzalez and a couple of other guys in the past that have come up from late-round first-round picks to be top-tier pieces of this Celtics team and a part of a Celtics winning roster. But now we officially know what it's going to cost if the Celtics would like to go out there and try to trade for Ivica Zubac. And at this current time, I think it might not be a bad idea, specifically because of where the Celtics are. In the Eastern Conference, they are fantastically placed right now in that second slot just behind the Detroit Pistons, who they have taken out at least once this season. Now, before we get into the rest of today's show, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. And if you download Kalshi with the link in the description, use code DIGESTNBA, you're going to get $20 when you trade your first 100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the U.S., and on their platform, you can trade yes or no on real-life events, sports, elections, news, and pretty much anything. Now, whether you're in California, Texas, Massachusetts, or anywhere across the country, Kalshi is now live in all 50 states. For sports fans, we can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out at any time. Now, the Celtics are in season right now, but I think I might take it to the NFL and look at the AFC Championship with the New England Patriots, another Boston team, taking on the Denver Broncos. A $100 trade will get you $145 back. I promise you, it's the smartest way to use your sports or news knowledge. You can close positions whenever you want. Again, download Kalshi with the link in the description, and don't forget to use code DIGESTNBA to get your $20 bonus. So, what is it going to cost to get Ivica Zubac? Well, we have the official tweet here from Full Court Pass saying the Clippers rejected trade offers of a first-round pick and pick swap for Ivica Zubac per Tom Rousery. They are believed to be seeking multiple first-round picks for him. I think this can be attainable, and we can very easily see that it is in for the Boston Celtics. Their future first-round picks go as followed with the 2026 draft, the 2027 draft. They have a pick swap in 2028 that they technically could trade upon, 2030 draft and 2031 draft. They have some first-round picks they could, give away, and the NBA, of course, has the weird rule you can't trade back-to-back picks. I think if the Celtics were to trade any amount of picks, they would probably give them this year's 2026 pick and then go and try and give them a 2030 or 2031 draft pick, which I think is I think it's a good price, to be quite honest with you. Now, does it make sense for the Boston Celtics? Is Ivica Zubac that much higher than Neemias Queta and the Celtics center position right now? I think yes, and the stats I'm going to go through here, it's hard to prove it officially because honestly, Ivica Zubac and Neemias Queta, their stats, while similar in some facets, don't tell the whole picture in some lights. The points are there with Ivica Zubac. His rebounding is obviously, of course, the 99th percentile, ranking 5th in the NBA. Great with blocks, and he plays, a lot of minutes per game, which as a center, having somebody who can play 30-plus minutes is something that is a hard thing to find now in today's game. Whereas Neemias Queta, the stats are relatively similar to an extent, but they're not exactly the same. Now, you've got the minutes per game being a little bit lower, but the rebounds are right up there with the longevity of Ivica Zubac, the true shooting percentage, the field goal percentage, the steals and the blocks are all there. I think when you take apart the Celtics team, Neemias Queta is a bigger part of it than people realize. But what they fail to look at is what Ivica Zubac has been to the Clippers and what he could do on an actually I'm going to say a competent roster. And don't get me wrong, the Clippers are still an NBA team, but we all know that if Ivica Zubac was on the Celtics, I guarantee most of these numbers would go up. Again, the question goes back to, is it worth it? And so I want to ask you the question before I get too far into this. Would you be willing to give up multiple first-round picks for Ivica Zubac? If you would, then I want you to type Y for yes. If you would not be willing to give up multiple first-round picks, then type in for no. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I think I'm a yes, personally. I mean, you have a lot of draft capital here. If you are the Boston Celtics, I think this is something to be useful to you. You can still, even giving up first-round picks, we'll still have it. And the NBA draft is now becoming, I think, a little less talented than maybe it was a couple of years ago, just because of how people are going to G League, but also NIL is helping college basketball stay in a decent spot. But forget all of that. Forget the draft picks. Forget that. The biggest thing to me is his contract, and that is why I think he's worth the multiple first-round picks. He has a 3-year contract. So if you trade for him, yeah, you might be giving up first-round picks, but you're getting a guy who will give you 2 years of really good salary. I mean, this is less than Anthony Simons is making. And to that point, Anthony Simons has been brought up in trade talks before for Ivica Zubac, and I am on the border because at the early part of the season, I was like, yeah, let's trade him. He's not going to be worth it to us. But with the position the Celtics are in now, Anthony Simons is a key piece of this team. Now, I think part of that is because the way Joe Mazzulla plays, and Mazzulla ball is something that is very apparent if you watch the Celtics. Anthony Simons has taken advantage of it to full extent over the past couple games. His stats have seen skyrocketing numbers, and it's really, really exciting to see what Anthony Simons is able to do when he's put in the right situation. His minutes per game is going up, which means points per game is going up, and he's just figuring out his shot a lot more and being a lot more effective. We all know the 30-point contest that he had. The way he's able to play in the fourth quarter over the past couple games has been fantastic as well. And I think overall, you look at Anthony Simons and say that he would be a very good piece for the Celtics. But for as much as we want to sit here and say that Simons is great, and he was mentioned in trade talks, I don't know if the Clippers would be amazingly interested in him anymore just based off this tweet. I mean, this really does feel like they want first-round picks. They understand the situation there, and they understand that the Celtics, or rather the Clippers, are probably not going to be in a position of top-tier winning for the next couple years. That to be said, the Celtics' first-round picks are going to be less wanted than maybe other teams' first-round picks because it's the Celtics. You expect them to be in good spots. I mean, let's be honest. This was a season where we thought the Celtics were not going to be all that great in some aspects. Or let me rephrase that. We had low expectations. I think we had, we knew what we had. We could still compete, but we had low expectations, and yet we're second in the Eastern Conference. That to be said, that's why teams, I think, in some reason, may not trade too much with us just because of the draft stock that we're going to give them as opposed to other teams. A little bit different, and I think that's a part of it. We continuously play well when Joe Mazzulla has been our coach. We've done fantastic things, and in so many facets, you can trade with the Celtics, and you can get later first-round picks in 2030 or whatever that might be, but then soon enough, guess what? That the picks aren't going to work out. The picks aren't going to be good things. So I would love to have Ivica Zubac on my team. I think he'd be a fantastic addition. At the end of the day, though, I really don't know if 2 firsts are worth it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section on this. Let me know if you would want to trade 2 first-round picks. But for now, though, guys, we appreciate you watching. See you next time. Peace out.